IEJ76 Ian here. Welcome to another live AOR broadcast of the F2 Sprint League. This is round 3 from Malaysia, so this will be race 5 and race 6. So as usual, we've got a double header format, 25% race, reverse grid from 1st to 8th, and so 8th place of the first race will start on the second race in pole position, and that will also be 25% distance. We've got fastest lap gets 2 points in both races if you finish in the top 10. We're just waiting here in the lobby for the rest of the guys to join us. Seem to have a few people missing so far tonight. Championship though couldn't be more fascinating after 4 races. We've got just 10 points separating the top 6. So leading the championship is Schnitzel on 39, then IIDK on 35. Also on 35 is De Thomas. Joshua and Luke is one behind on 34. Nezra 92 is on 30, and Lakitu, who won race 1 in Singapore last weekend, is in 6th place on 29 points. So really tight at the top of the championship. This reverse grid format does lend itself to a tight championship. We've also got a number of guys that are on a very similar pace, I believe. So the guys are getting ready to count down for this double header. We'll have to wait and see whether we've got any rain. Being Malaysia, we could well have some at some point. And the only guy I believe from the top 6 in the championship who doesn't seem to be here is Lakitu. But other than that, the top 5 of the championship are all correct and present. So I hope for a clean race. So the guys will all go out at the same time, but we can choose who we want to ride with. So we'll start off with Schnitzel, as he's the championship leader, I think. But the positions relative to each other as they go around the lap will appear on the top left-hand side. 4 watchers already. Hello everyone, thanks for joining us. Just myself, I'm afraid, today. McQuiz is out of town, which is an expression I've not heard for 10 years. Fantastic. And David Ben, unfortunately, I was going to say unfortunately, fortunately is out with his wife for a nice meal. So it's just myself today. So I'm just getting ready to kill this Formula 1 logo. Milan Klaus has just joined us. So well, he won't be in the Force Indy. He was in the first round because Tom and IIDK are both present. So he's going to take another car, possibly McLaren, because I know Infinity can't ride tonight. So we will see which car he takes. Now, it doesn't look very sunny, but is it actually wet on the track? We'll soon find out as the plastic spectators look on. There's a countdown on the top right there, so 20 seconds. So this will be the guys' chance to load their setup. Most of them will probably have setup saved from previous runs at this track. And they'll set their tyre strategy as well. Right, so here we go. Let's get my head in gear and go to Schnitzel, and let's ride on board with him. He's 9th at the moment, so I may play around with these positions. Norrell is fastest so far, but obviously in the very first part of the sector you can see the names shooting around all over the place, pretty impossible to follow. Extreme is now top, Nezra is 2nd, Schnitzel's moving up the order. Washi and Jason from F8 are bringing up the rear at the moment. We'll stay with Schnitzel just as we go through. They're on the red super soft tyres, well Schnitzel is anyway. The track is bone dry, but it doesn't look like there's probably a lot of grip up there. So we're going to go up to Extremer in the Haas. I love this circuit. Fast sweeping corners. It's a shame that Formula 1 is, well, they've pulled out of the contract, I believe. So they're not going to run another race here, certainly in the foreseeable future. And we're into the final big straight before the big stop at the hairpin. Extreme is still on top from Cam, Nezran, Iidika and De Thomas. Nicely out of the last corner, across the line. Is he going to be quickest? He is. So Extreme takes pole with a 1:32.010. Cam is second, Iidika third, Nezran is fourth. So some pretty quick guys you'd expect to be up there. But that looked like a fairly straightforward qualifying, but a good pole position. So there we go then. There's the lineup. Extreme, Cam, Iidika, Nezran, Joshua, Luke, De Thomas. Schnitzel will be slightly disappointed perhaps with 8th. Tom there in 7th. Bopop, Mr. Robin, Norrell, Washi, Jason. Have we got any more than 13? Olkey we've got there. Okay, in 14. And who was the guy that joined us? Milan Klaus has not joined us in time for the qualifying. Whether he will be in the race, I'm not sure how that works. 2 guys, Nezra and Joshua Luke, starting on the softs. So an alternate strategy, so we'll have to watch out for them. They'll be running longer. And it's anyone's guess who's going to win this race. There's a lot of guys. The top 6 are quick in the championship, but also we've got some other guys. Cam, who starts on the front row, he's only 8th in the championship on 19 points. But really, you know, anybody here could get a decent result. Countdown, 5 seconds left. And we're ready to go in Sepang. Here we go then. 5 lights on. They're off and we're away. And it's a decent start by Cam. An even better start, though, by Iidika, who's already taken second place. And he's trying to get the inside of Extrema. No, Extrema breaks very late. The 2 Renaults jumping around all over the place as... Oh dear, Extrema's gone off. And so has Cam. He's off. Let's get back to the front. So a lot happening. Whoa, 5 abreast. And someone goes off. It's Extrema. He is out. My goodness. Terrible start for him. Let's get to the front and see what's going on. And Cam has gone as well. So Cam's out. There's Extrema. So leading is Iidika in the Force India from Joshua Luke second. Bopop has somehow come through that mess to come up to 3rd. Tom is been passed by Schnitzel for 4th place. Mr. Robin. There's places changing all over the place. So let's go back to the battles. This is Mr. Robin in the Mercedes ahead of his teammate Olkey. And Milan Klaus is actually in the Red Bull as Washi defends from De Thomas. So a lot of people have changed a lot of places from their grid slots. Let's go back to the front. Is Iidika up 2 spots from his 3rd on the grid. Leads Joshua Luke by 0.8 of a second. Bopop is in a fantastic 3rd. But Schnitzel, who's a quick guy, leading the championship, will be wanting to get by pretty soon. So 2 retirements already. Oh, it says Cam's rejoined the session, so we'll have to see. Maybe that was a glitch. We know that Extreme is definitely out of the race. Here they come towards us. They're down to turn 1. And Bopop will be having to defend from Schnitzel, I think, as De Thomas comes into the pits. So he must have had some sort of wing damage there. And Schnitzel is now through turn 3. Is he going to have a pop up the inside of Bopop? Not at the moment. Iidika still leads. Or Bopop gets a poor exit. And this is the chance for Schnitzel, but this fast left-right sweeping curves is not really the place to go through. And Bopop takes that nicely. Oh, big slide from Schnitzel, who does well not to lose it. Meanwhile, Iidika at the front is pulling away. Joshua Luke is already out of DRS range. Don't forget they'll get DRS after 2 laps. This is still the tightest battle in the leading position. Schnitzel still in 4th. Schnitzel's mum is watching tonight. So I've got a message for her. Ich hoffe, die Max das Rennen heute Abend. So there you go. I promise I'll get that one in. He's really close now to Bopop, and I think he's going to be lined himself up for a run into the last corner. Nesrin is somehow, I'm sorry I missed that, in all the mayhem, he's gone down a position, so maybe he must have come in with De Thomas. Oh, there's the move. Schnitzel's gone up the inside, not a brilliant camera angle, and they're running side by side as Iidika goes fast lap of the race. So Nesrin and De Thomas may well have had a collision as the Mercedes goes wide there, because they've both come in for a pit stop, I believe. But this is Schnitzel making the move on Bopop, who doesn't want to give it up. This section here, these first few corners, is fantastic for racing. We've seen many a passing battle and repassing over the years in real F1. A 5-second stop-go penalty for speeding the pit lane for Norrell. So Norrell obviously came into the pits as well. It would be putting away slightly quicker than this. Let's have a little look down the field at Washi, who's in 8th place, chasing down Olkey in 7th. So Norrell's only just come into the pits, so that's why he's got his speeding penalty. Let's go back to the front. So Iidika, well, is he managing that gap, or are those two genuinely really close together? I think they're probably close together on speed, but he's broken the DRS range. And let's just remind ourselves of the tyres are on. Now, De Thomas, who came in to the pits, has gone onto the medium tyre, so I think he will surely try and run through to the end of the race. Then we've got a mixture of super softs and softs. Now, Joshua Luke on softs, that will partly explain actually why he's a little slower than Iidika, but if he can keep within a few seconds of Iidika, then he can run longer and then hope to have a quicker run at him on the end on those quicker super softs. We've got a yellow flag in sector 2. See if I can find what that is. Can't at the moment. We're watching Nesrin, who's chasing down De Thomas. I said I don't know these two collided, so I may well be doing them a disservice. De Thomas did point out that I gave him a reputation as being involved in crashes, which, you know, he is a clean driver, so I certainly did intend that. So, as Nesrin goes around the outside, makes the move stick, and there's some more pit stops. So Milan Klaus is into the pits. Meanwhile, Olkey in 7th has been passed by Washi, so we missed that, but Washi's got through. Washi, the leader of F8, who's finished 10th twice, or 9th I think, twice this season. Let me just check. 9th twice, but it was in race 2 in both rounds, so he doesn't get any points for 9th in race 2. Meanwhile, back at the front, Iidika, his lead is only a second, so Joshua Luke is getting the job done at the moment. He's doing exactly what he needs to do, keeping within very close range of Joshua Luke. Iidika is second in the championship of the Force India on 35 points. Joshua Luke is 4th in the championship on 34 and has been very consistent so far this season, with a 6th, a 5th, a 6th and a 2nd, as Tom gets a 5-second stop-go penalty for speeding. So let's run through the order. Lap 4 of 14, Iidika leads. Joshua Luke is 2nd. Schnitzel is 3rd. 4th is Bopop. Mr. Robin doing an excellent job there in 5th place in the Mercedes. 6th is Washi. 7th is Olkey in the 2nd Mercedes. Cam, who definitely is in the race, is 8th. Jason is 9th. Milan Klaus is 10th. Nesra 92 is 11th. 12th is De Thomas. 13th is Norrell. 14th is Tom, who's about to be lapped. So let's see if he gets out of the way for the leaders. Extreme is the only retirement. Now, he really should be pulling over here. He's not, particularly for his teammate. Let's see if he pulls over in this next section. He does. Okay, not too bad. No, he hasn't. Well, this isn't particularly good, and this is giving Joshua Luke the option, the possibility of closing right up, and this is not good driving from Tom. Yes, he's got a 5-second stop-go penalty for ignoring blue flag, and that's a pretty poor show, to be honest with you. It's his teammate, but regardless of who it is, he needs to let him through. Now he does. Yeah, once he's got the penalty. Yeah, brilliant. And he lets through Joshua Luke as well. But actually, in the end, Joshua Luke hasn't gained. He's further behind, in fact, from Iidika, but that's more through luck than judgment from Tom's point of view. So the gap is up to 1.7 seconds. Schnitzel is 3rd, and he has definitely closed the gap, I think, on these top two with that blue flag incident, and he comes into the pits. So He's the first one to blink from super soft to soft in terms of a normal pit stop without any wing damage. So let's watch him go through on this stop. Quite a long pit lane this. Feels really slow as well. So in he comes. Now he's going to go on to the softs, as you'd expect. So he'll run through to the end of the race. And he's going to come out in 7th place, I believe. So meanwhile, at the front, Iodika has now got a 2-second lead with Joshua Luke slipping back, maybe, well, struggling on those softs. I don't know, because you think as time goes on, actually his tyres will wear out less, so he should be able to hold the position. But I think 2 seconds still gives him a chance to fight for victory if it doesn't get any worse than that. Bopop is really doing fantastically well in 3rd place. Great start for him, the British driver. Didn't take part in the last race, but got a 12th and a 7th in rounds 1 and 2 in Monza. Mr. Rob is still 4th there. Now, have we got any decent battles? Nobody's within. Oh, we have now Schnitzel, who's come out on the super softs as a Cam runs wide. And oh dear, they brush wheels. I think they did collide there. Oh no, Cam's ghosted. Right, okay, fine. That makes sense. So Cam was out the race, but he appears ghosted sometimes, obviously when a car's near him, but other times not. So Cam is an AI car, so we can ignore him being in 8th. He will continue to slip down the order because the AI won't be very quick here. Iodika's pitted, so this is the one we need to watch for. Will Iodika manage to hold his position from Schnitzel? I imagine he will, because Schnitzel was in 3rd. Puts on the soft tyres as well. Williams is in as well behind him. Bopop's come in as well. And here it is. So out comes Iodika. And where is Schnitzel in relation to him? Yeah, he's a few 3 seconds back. So that pretty much has come out as it was before. Oh, as Bopop and Jason. Bopop's come out of the pits of the Williams, and Jason is trying to take advantage on the super soft tyres. But if Bopop can get clear, he is on the fresher tyres, I believe. As there's another pit stop, but that's Cam, who's a ghosted car. As Nezrin and Milan Klaus goes side by side through turn 2. Riding on board with Nezrin 92, the Swedish driver. Nezrin sits 5th in the championship, 30 points in the Renault. We're going to go up to the battle for the podium because Iodika, as Tom has retired. Oh dear. Perhaps the blue flag penalty was too traumatic for him. Anyway, oh, big squeal of the tyres and brakes. As this is his chance now, Iodika, the championship leader, is in the slipstream of Volky. And surely he's going to make this move stick. Side by side, both on the same tyres, but Volky is not pitted. So that's a fairly straightforward pass for him. As Washi comes into the pits. But meanwhile, we'll look down at Nezrin, who's again very close to Milan Klaus. So Joshua Luke is the only guy from the leading few before the pit stops not to stop, but we'll expect him to go probably 1 or 2 laps longer. So Nezrin, a really quick driver, has recently been moved up, I believe, for the Sunday League up to F4. So he's been in 3 leagues so far, F8, F7, and will be joining F4. As Washi comes out of the pits in 10th. So he's on for a point as things stand. But this is the battle we're watching for 8th place, which at the moment is the battle for pole position in race 2. Nezrin behind Milan Klaus. Meanwhile at the front, Schnitzel is trying to have another pop at Olkey. And he goes around the outside. Brilliant move. Yes, he does. They give each other room. Good stuff. Oh, he runs wide onto the gravel. As you can see, Joshua Luke and Olkey and Jason are the only 3 yet to stop. And Joshua Luke's in the pit, so this is the battle we need to watch. Now, will he get out in front of Iadika? He's got a 21-second lead. I should have researched how long typical pit stop would take. I think that's going to be close. He goes on the super soft tyres. If he's anywhere near Iadika, even if he's behind him, he's going to be on the quicker tyres. So here he comes, and Iadika's already gone through. So Joshua Luke will resume in second, and the gap is 2.7, so he's lost a bit of time in that. And Schnitzel is the big gainer here, because he has moved up, right up behind Joshua Luke in third. Olkey, remember, is in fourth, but yet to pit. Jason's just pitting. Mr. Robin gets past him, and Jason punches down the order as you'd expect. So 2 DNFs so far, Tom and Extrema. But this is the battle for second place. Schnitzel through the fast left, right, turns 5 and 6. Tricky corner to get the turn in here for 7 and then 8. Then a big stop down to the hairpin at 9. And coming up here, not this one 10, but this one 11 is one of my most hated corners in Formula 1. I just find it really difficult to find the turning point. I've got off and run wide there. Meanwhile, back in 9th, we've got Washi and Nesrin and Milan Klaus in a terrific fight. So we'll stay on board with Washi. Nesrin has a look up the inside of Milan Klaus, who's in his second different team this year. Started the year in a Force India. He's a reserve driver, so he pops into whatever car's available. Big lock up from Washi. So we'll go back on board Nesrin. The battle for second has stabilised somewhat. Schnitzel is dropping back. Joshua Luke is on the quicker tyres, and he is beginning to close in a little bit on Iadika as Olkey makes his pit stop. So Nesrin at the front of this queue is actually Mr. Robin in 6th place, Milan Klaus is 7th, Nesrin 8th, Washi 9th. So as it stands, one of these guys will start the next race 9th, and all the others will start right at the front of the race as Milan Klaus has a go round the outside of Mr. Robin into turn 1. Is this going to end in tears? They touch. And will this give Nesrin the chance to close up? We'll watch on board with Nesrin. Mr. Robin and Milan Klaus really close together. Milan Klaus is going to come back here. Down the inside. Let's hope they give each other racing room. They do. Oh, big spin of the wheels from Nesrin, who couldn't capitalise on the 2 in front slowing. I'm keeping an eye on the battle at the front, where Joshua Luke is now 1.2 seconds behind, so that is going to be a great battle for the lead anytime soon. Excuse me while I just get some drink, stave off losing my voice. But back at the front, I think we need to join that battle. This is the battle for the win between 2 guys who are clearly going to be championship contenders. And there you go, Joshua Luke, fastest lap on a 1:34.407. Schnitzel is going with him though. If these two have any sort of problems, then Schnitzel will be able to take advantage. Interestingly, that's a very similar lap time to the real fastest lap in F1 this year with Vettel, who did a 1:34.080. So let's just summarise the lead. Iadika leads from Joshua Luke, Schnitzel, Bopop, Milan Klaus, Mr. Robin. Nesrin's got past Mr. Robin. They're side by side. Nesrin's up the inside. Mr. Robin tries to hang it round, and you can go side by side here. Oh, that's just about fair enough. He's got through. Excuse me. But Nesrin is up the inside now. This is surely going to be a move made. He's on the quicker super softs. Oh, well. Now, he didn't leave him a lot of room, but on the other hand, Mr. Robin probably should have let that one go. And Washi moves up as well. So Washi's got up ahead of Mr. Robin. He's had a good start of this race, but it's now beginning to slip down the order somewhat. Back at the front, Joshua Luke is now within DRS range of Iadika. Schnitzel is there 3 seconds behind Joshua Luke. Let's look at what should we look at? stops, we know that. Milan Klaus is doing best from his grid position, up 10 spots. Great overhead shot here. Into turns 1 and 2. And Joshua Luke is really close now. Few places you can get through here. Certainly this run through 3 and into 4 is a place you can get through. As is the last corner and of course the first corner into turn 1. So you can see 3 different tyres being used at the moment. De Thomas the only one on the mediums. He had that problem early on in the first couple of laps. So he's running through to the end of the race. Joshua Luke really close. Let's go on board with him. Lock up, but that's nothing to be too worried about. We're coming to the closing stages. There'll be 2 laps to go at the end of this one. And Joshua Luke looks pretty racy. Thinks about a look up the inside. That's definitely not an overtaking spot. Is he going to have a go? Is he quite close enough? I would hold off if I was him. Oh, they nearly touch. But Idika holds on to that lead. We're going to stick with this battle. Alki is pretty close to the Thomas, but this is where the interest lies. He's in the slipstream. He's going up the inside. Nice clean move. Is Idika going to be able to come back on the inside? He tries to, he does. But I think Joshua Luke's got that one made. Or has he? Back comes Idika. Fantastic scrap down to turn 4. On the outside. He goes round the outside. Oh, and he spins and they touch briefly and he's got it back. What a move from Idika. I thought that was going to be lost. But he's through. He's back in the lead of this race. Let's go back on board. So, 1.5 laps to go. A brilliant battle at the front. Meanwhile, Schnitzel is still 3 seconds behind. Bo Pop is somewhere way behind that. Milan Klaus, then Nesrin, who's had a great recovery drive to 6th. Washi is 7th, Mr. Robin is 8th. And to Thomas and Olke are 9th and 10th. They're your points finishes in this first race. Oh, now Idika runs wide onto the curb. This could be the chance for Joshua Luke. But no, Idika didn't lose too much time there. Idika's got fairly good straight line speed. So Joshua Luke will be looking for a clean, smooth exit. Idika got a slightly better one. So is he going to be able to get close enough? I don't think he is. All Milan Klaus has got a penalty. Up the inside goes Joshua Luke, but he's not close enough this time. So this is the last lap, so there's only going to be a couple more opportunities for Joshua Luke to get through. All the other positions other than De Thomas being fairly close to Olke are fairly set. It looks like Mr. Robin will probably take pole position as it stands. But this is still the battle. Oh, and Joshua Luke runs wide, and that's probably the end of that battle. That's a shame. But Idika's done some good defending in this race. The winner of the first race in the F2 Sprint League, the race 1 for Monza. And he'll take the lead of the championship. Only chance now for Joshua Luke is if Idika outbreaks himself. But he's too good a driver, I think, to do that. So as we come down to the last corner, turn 15, it's going to be a second win from 5 races in the F2 Sprint League for Idika in the Force India. He crosses the line, weaves. Fantastic win. Takes the checkered flag. Joshua Luke will come home second. Great win. Great second for him. Schnitzel, some more good points for the championship for him in third. Yes, he will lose the championship lead, but he's still very much up there. Bopop, well, from that race, I think driver of the day for me. Good finish for him in the Williams, 4th place, brilliant stuff. Milan Klaus will come home 5th. Nesrum will come home 6th. Mr. Robin has got Washi just in front of him, but Washi takes 7th, so Mr. Robin will be on pole. De Thomas and Olkey drag racing down the pit straight, and Olkey held on to that position. So dramatic stuff all the way down the field. So that means Mr. Robin will start on pole, Washi will start 2nd, Nesra will start 3rd, and Milan Klaus will start 4th. Good stuff. Oh, they're all slowing down on the slowdown lap. You quite often get some amusing shunts at this point. A bit like Vettel and Stroll with a real Malaysian Grand Prix. So, I'm going to cut the stream off to go and get a glass of water as you see the podium. And we'll start again. Join me in a couple of minutes for race 2.